There are some other options, semaglutide being probably the next best in line. And semaglutide has two versions of it, Ozempic, which is approved for type 2 diabetes, and Wegovy, which is exactly the same medication in a very slightly higher dose, which is already approved for weight loss intervention by the FDA. It's an on-label medication that you can take right now. It's a once-weekly injection, just like Mounjaro. And I have somebody who's very near and dear to my heart, my cousin Krissy, who's been coming on to this. Well, first of all, she's been doing me this favor of just like on the fly modding this channel on Friday Night Lives. So she's just like giving me her Friday nights for the last 3 or 4 weeks, which has just been so nice of her. That's a good cousin right there. But I'm going to bring her into the stream. Krissy, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Good. I had to come off mute.
Well,
it's just my way of getting to hang out with you.
Well, hey, whatever it takes. Sometimes it takes weird things to bring us together, even when we're family. To give you all a little bit of a background, Krissy and I have been on these like parallel journeys with just struggling with our health over our, honestly, our childhood into our adult lives. But more pressing the older we've gotten, and as we've added children to our lives and other things that are really important to stay healthy for. And Krissy has she's been on a bit of a journey most recently with I'll let you tell the story real briefly again for everybody watching, just what you lost and what you put back on and kind of where you're at now. And
yeah, I was health coaching with a company called Optavia, which is a great program. Lost 86 pounds, ended up gaining like 76 back over the last year, just through stress and bad decisions. And, we can talk ourselves off a cliff real fast, right? And then just trying to go back on keto, didn't work. Just bouncing around, just wanting to be normal, like, can I just be normal and not weigh 300 pounds? No, the answer is no, I cannot. So Dave starts making his videos and talking to me at Christmas and all the things, and then I don't even know how that ended up happening a couple weeks ago. It was just like, I really want to do this. I'm serious. Let's get it done. He texts me a link, and here we are. I'm on the tail end of my second week on Wegovy.
Some people might call it serendipitous. I would call it God's great plan and God's sovereignty in our lives. But you and I got together on Christmas, and I probably came off as a bit of a psychopath. Not probably came off. I definitely was, because even in the moment, I'm like sitting at the Christmas dinner table. I'm like, Mounjaro. And Krissy's a registered nurse, so everything I'm telling her is not anything she hasn't heard before, but she's never heard it from somebody who's probably that excitable about it. And actually, we have an aunt too that bopped her head in, and she works at a weight loss clinic here in Iowa, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's really great if you can get it." And that was kind of her contribution. But she's like, "Yeah, our nurses are coming in and they're getting on it themselves, and they're coming in 30 pounds lighter and blah 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 blah." So I think that like it was just great timing, because around Christmas time, I had this passion and fire underneath me. The channel was hot, and I was doing videos every other day. And
I had 70 extra pounds.
You and me both, except I've got about 100 extra pounds. But yeah, so Krissy ended up reaching out kind of the time that after Christmas, and maybe a couple weeks passed after that, and you reached out and you're like, okay, let's, what do you got? And I had just been connected with the gals, Angie and Jenny from the weight loss clinic over in Nebraska, which, quick plug for that. They're able to help patients in Iowa and Nebraska. And I saw a post today from Angie that said she's now licensed in North Dakota. So she can now take patients in North Dakota. So if you're in North Dakota, Iowa, or Nebraska, I realize that probably represents probably me and you. But if there's anybody out there who is in Iowa, Nebraska, or North Dakota, you can reach out to those gals. Go back to the video that we did. I posted, they were the Friday Night Live feature from last week, but then I also reposted their interview. It's got a pink background. It's really easy to find. Go into the description of that, and it's got all their information in it, and you can reach out to them. But Krissy reached out to Angie, and Angie and Krissy work together, doctors and patients, and doctors and patients. Krissy is the best advocate and the best expert in herself and her own history and her own health. And Angie is an expert in medicine, and they came to the decision to put Krissy on Wegovy. And so Krissy is on Wegovy, which is also a GLP-1, as is a GLP-1 agonist, as is Mounjaro. It's a once weekly shot, as is Mounjaro. Mounjaro acts a little bit differently by also acting on the GIP, but both had similar results in the SURMOUNT trials for weight loss. So, Krissy, now you are roughly 2 weeks in, a little bit shy of 2 weeks, if my math is right.
Right.
Tell us about where you are at and what you've experienced.
So week 1, I think I was nauseous twice. I mean, I don't know if you guys know about Wegovy. I hear, all about the Mounjaro stuff, but Wegovy starts at 0.25 and the max is 2.4. So Angie did a really good job of preparing me and gave me some Zofran for nausea. I haven't actually used it. I might have a really strong stomach though, but yeah, nothing that I did read somewhere. If you just eat small meals, it'll keep the nausea at bay, and just frequently if you get nauseous. So I just carry a little like granola bar at work, and if I need it, I take a couple bites. And I've been putting protein in my coffee. But week 1, I try to not to weigh myself very often, because I mean that can really be the thief of joy, and your body will, especially if you're a woman, fluctuate water weight every day. You can be up and down, different and different. So week 1 I was down 3.6 pounds, which might not sound like a lot to some people, but it was huge for me because the scale hasn't moved that much in a week in a long time. I'm trying not to weigh myself this week too, because like I said, the first week I just focused on intuitive eating, and this week I am trying to incorporate some more of those healthier habits. And I definitely know that I do need to keep up on my water, because I feel better. My body it functions so much better when I drink more water. Also the dry mouth. I don't know if that's a thing on Mounjaro, but
Dry mouth is definitely a thing when you're doing an hour-long video. Like, I've been slamming my pop here. I should have water, but my pop is completely empty now, and I'm like, one of those type of deals. Okay, so I was responding to a comment. Melissa had mentioned that Ozempic is 0.25, 0.5, 1 milligram, and 2, and Wegovy is 0.25, 0.5, 1 milligram, 1.7, and then 2.4. So she has been on both, and she has shared successes with both. Dry mouth is a huge thing on Mounjaro, she said. Miss Tapman, I had seen earlier in the stream that she may be waffling on between Mounjaro and the semaglutide because of insurance stuff. She said insurance covers Wegovy. Miss Tapman, I just wanted to pause and say you are exactly why we are doing this right now, because there's a lot of people in your situation. And this is also why I've shared it into a lot of the forums on Facebook. If you're joining us on Facebook tonight, because there's just countless people who are like, they've been kicked off the moon and they're looking for another option. And this Krissy is helping us understand, like, this, we can be successful. Krissy, can you say again, in just shy of 2 weeks, how many pounds you've lost?
Well, confirmed 3.6.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep it a weekly thing, because stress and cortisol levels, everything can come into play with that. So,
3.6 pounds in what I think is probably like 10 or 11, 12 days.
but like over 2 inches.
Wow.
Like,
That's amazing.
I don't know if you guys do the 360 Me app. It's
Never heard of
super
it.
easy.
I bet.
Oh my gosh, it scans your body versus having to actually measure all of it. And it's
Is it
probably
like
not
a
as
scale?
accurate measurement wise. I don't think it is, but it will, from your first scan to your next scan, it will be accurate to it. So it doesn't matter what your actual measurements, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah, I'm
So,
tracking with you. And that's called what again?
360 Me,
360
and
me.
it's like THREESIXTY
That
Me.
Mel said, Dave, me 360, dude, get it.
Me 360. Sorry, my bad.
I think when you said that, I was like, that sounds faintly familiar. I pop in and out of BJ Davis's Discord. Like, I don't want to admit how many times a day I talk
Yeah,
to him,
where I got it.
but I know I've heard that. So yeah, it's only semi-accurate. Melissa said. I know that when I go to the doctor, I get you're gonna know because you're a nurse, but I grab the handles and it reads all the things and tells me how much visceral fat and all that stuff that
Right.
I have.
And my scale does that too if I don't wear socks.
Okay.
I don't
But
know
you
why
have
that.
socks.
I always wear socks and I don't care. I don't know. I don't care how much water weight or muscle mass. I mean, I do and I don't.
Yeah.
But like I said, I know that like it measured my waist slightly bigger, but if I'm standing in the same place every day and it's scanning me in the same position and wearing roughly the same outfit like women usually do, sports bras and leggings, it's going to give you an
That's
accurate
what I wear around
pre
the house, just to be clear.
right. I figured.
It's,
So
it's strictly for comfort.
mainly just the sports bra, right?
I mean, it's just for
This
support.
this sports bro.
But yeah, I use this Renfo scale. I don't like report the Renfo information on my channel because it's not the scale I started with, and the scale that I started with in the Renfo scale don't agree. So I go with the one that I started with. But I do that, and it does keep track of all that stuff, which I think is mildly important. I'm not sure that there's as much fluctuation in short periods of time, even month to month, as people think there are. Like a quick short. You were saying that I acted all wild and crazy on it, where I was like, my shirt's fitting looser. Like that was a big win for me. That was a non-scale victory, something that I don't usually focus on, but did because the scale was not behaving this week, even though I hadn't been eating or I hadn't been eating that much. And so, yeah, it was a big win for me to pull out those shirts that were like a mile away from fitting just months ago. And like, they were baggy, and that was a huge win for me. And so like, I didn't really care at that point what the scale said. Like, this doesn't lie. When this stuff's hanging off you, it doesn't lie. So if the scale is going to lie to me, and the scale does lie, even for men. So like, I know you said for women, the water weight, with your cycles and all that stuff that, changes throughout the month. For men, I think we have
You cycle too.
mansies. There's something
You
to it.
do.
They haven't tapped into it yet, but there's completely something there that parallels that. And my weight just doesn't, like I can do all the right things and it doesn't go down for that week. And so anyway, excellent thing to focus on. This got way off track. Excellent thing to focus
I
on
do.
is
I
not.
do want to say though, I don't think I lost 2 inches on my waist. That I add those collectively. Obviously 11 days is not enough time, but I'm also in my very first few shots. The what do you call it? Like inflammation is coming down, which
Yeah, you're
so
shedding water. I mean, it's just like with keto. People are like, I
right.
lost 10 pounds in 10 days. Because you shed a lot of water when you start.
Yeah, and you went to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. And some people, conversely, with Mounjaro, some people don't go to the bathroom for a few days. So at least numero dos. So that can mess with the scale too, especially for those that are on the lower end of the spectrum of the weight. So all good information. appreciate you sharing that. And I can't wait to like just continue to follow up with you because I think this is so helpful for those who are here on the stream that are losing their Mounjaro prescription and are looking at getting on a semaglutide medicine instead of Mounjaro, and they're freaked out about it. And it's like, hear it from Krissy. Like, you're having a great experience so far. I think that's awesome.
I just want to say I was apprehensive too because I've seen all this success with Mounjaro, and I didn't want to be like getting the Walmart version, you know.
Yeah, I,
But I just want to put that out there that I'm not type 2 diabetic. Yes, I have a thick family history of it.
yeah,
But my insurance, I made sure it did cover it, but I'm getting it for free.
yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, semaglutide is not the great value version of Mounjaro.
Right?
It is. It's another Post or what are the other cereal brands? Cheerios.
Right.
It's not
The
the
Kellogg
bootlegos. It's not the bootlegos. It's semaglutide is a great.
Total Raisin Bran.
What's that?
Total Raisin Bran.
Total
Not
raisin.
just
Yeah. With the good little covered raisins in it. Remember those? Are those still a thing? I don't know. I don't eat cereal because I'm
No.
scared of carbs. Anyway, we got off track. That's what we do, but that's what we're here for. Thank you, Krissy, for sharing. I hope that you'll come next week. We do this again. I've got some exciting news about next week, actually, everybody. So just stay tuned. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end because I got some exciting news. But I want to have you back on next week. Thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit this week.
No problem.
Okay, thanks, Chris.